Hi everyone, it's Debbie with Book Kombucha. Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you've been here before. Join me today as I update my HRCYED spreadsheet for November. This is what my bingo board looks like from the end of October, and let's see if we can get any more green squares in November. So let's start with my tracker. So I have updated everything for November in here and got everything filled out. And then my points calculator, which I totally forgot to show you last month. For rereads, I have earned 12. I have earned 6 DNFs, 2 triple ups, and I can short 1 prompt. And I did use 1 reread, and that was Rebecca. And I used that for a readathon. I don't really plan on using any others, but I did happen to read it during that readathon time period. HRCYED stats. I have read a total of 164 books between July and now. A total of 51,222 pages, 1,052 hours of audiobooks, and then average days to read about 3.31, average rating 4.21, which is excellent. Love it. And then an average pages of 328.35 a day, 6.74 hours of audiobooks per day, and then total books read out of this world, basically in a fantasy world, 58. These are the prompts that I've been doing so far. And then for the map, I've been doing fairly well here. Not too bad. I do need to find a Greenland book. I think that would be kind of fun to find one for that. Actually, I do have one. I didn't even think about that. When did I read that? Heart of a Valkyrie by Melanie Karsak. They started out kind of in the UK area and then they went to Greenland. I need to look and see when I read that one because I think it was, oh no, it was February. That's why. It was February. So if she comes out with the 3rd book in February of 2026, then that will definitely count because they are now in Greenland. Awesome. I love it. And then I do need to find the southern portion of Europe, Africa, Asia, this area, and doing fairly well. I do need to find some more Midwest books though, because it's looking pretty sparse in the middle here. Doing pretty good for East Coast, the South, and the West Coast, but I need to get some of that middle section done. Publishers, I'm doing fairly well. A lot of independent press or smaller publishers that aren't part of the big guys, so I've been putting those there, and then it's pretty good with self-published as well. A lot of Penguin lately, I've noticed, because I think I've been reading a lot more Del Rey books, which is a part of Penguin Random House, which is weird because I think last year it was more Harper. That was a big one. And then, of course, a lot of public domain because I read a lot of classics. And then, let's see, new versus reread. I've only had 2.5% for the rereads, so far, and then 156 new, which is great. For series, I have just started 44. I have 34 in progress, 10 up to publication, which is great. And I have finished 8 series. Love that for me. And then 63 standalones. And then the way I have been reading, okay, so physical and audio, 41, ebook, 46, audiobook, 42, ebook and audiobook, 15, paperbacks, 8%, or 4.9%, audio ARCs, 1, and hardcover, 10. And then for genres, look at that nice mix on the wheel. I love to see that. This has a bunch of the different kinds of fantasy. So we have the epic high fantasy, we've got cozy fantasy over here, fantasy adventure. So it's not just a big spot for fantasy. It kind of breaks it down a little bit, but it's still kind of fun to see all the different colors and all the smaller pie wedges, which means I'm reading a nice variety of books. Covers, still blue. There's lots of shades of blue. Up in the brown books as well. Green is another big one, and then of course black, especially after Halloween. And then we have audience read, so of course adult, 104, middle grade, children's, and that's mainly from the Ghost Quilt books. Those are so cute. Young adult and new adult. And then we have publication year, which is all over the place. Apparently, a lot in 2025. I've read a lot of new releases because of the HRCYED challenge this year. 2024 is fairly big, as well as 2023, so recent years, that makes sense. Of course, you got 1939, 1886, 1966, ooh, 736. That was an old one. Might have been Paradise Lost, one of those. Virgil, maybe, the Aeneid. And then authors, which of course Bengali being the most, because that's my challenge, is to read all the Bengali books that I own. And then a lot of, who is this one? Oh, Rochelle Mead for the Vampire Academy series that I am currently reading. And I think that is it for the stats. So let's move to subgenres of choice. Nothing new here. I do need to get to a cyberpunk biopunk book, which I do have a couple in here that I want to read. So I definitely want to read Perdido Street Station. I'm also looking at War of the Worlds and Island of Dr. Moreau. Those would be good. Of course, I read Brave New World in June. It started in July, so what you gonna do? But that's a good one. Series Staircase. Now, here is where I did something a little different. Yeah, I had a bunch of these ones in the Even Bigger Rainbow. And I decided, you know what, this is a 6-book series, and I read 4 of the books during this challenge. And we're going into the next series, Bloodlines, starting this month. And I'm like, why am I not putting those there? So I put the Vampire Academy 3, 4, 5, and 6 in here. So I have finished the series Staircase. I'm like, why am I waiting for books that I haven't read yet when I already have a 4+ book series I've just finished? So yay, and I did it. Get to click the green square. Very excited about that one. And then we have award season. This is another one where I had all of them on here, but a semi-finalist. And of course, the Goodreads Choice Awards just came out. Not that I am a big supporter of that. Although I was surprised I had read a lot of the horror books that were in there. So good for me. Most of them, I hadn't read very many of them, but I did vote on the ones that I read that I actually did enjoy and think should win, which I think one of them did out of the ones that I read, but that's okay. But I did read Tourist Season by Brynne Weaver this past month, and that was one of the semifinalists, so it made it to the second round, but not the third. So Tourist Season, very excited for that one, and so that one is done. Yay! That's 2 done already. That's awesome. Okay, last 10 years. I did finish that one. I'm just waiting to put in, I'm keeping it in here because I want to put a book for 2026 in here. Adaptations. I am happy to say that this one is also complete. So I did complete the web series. So I have the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. I did watch all of the episodes and it was adorable. I would highly recommend it. It is so cute. And then I have previously read Pride and Prejudice, which is what the Lizzie Bennet Diaries is based on. And then I already had these 4 in there, and then modern day retelling. So Peter Pan is the original, which I have read. And I did just read A Land of Never a Night, and I did look it up, and it does say that it is a modern retelling. So I counted it for this one. So that one is now done. Very exciting. 3 more. So if I finish, once I finish everything, I'm going to go back through and try and take out any duplicates and put in all individual books for all of these. And that's another reason why I moved the Vampire Diaries and put something else in its place. And I will show you those when we get to that tab, because I did pull that tab back in. And then we have Disability Challenge. And this one I had already finished. No. Oh, this one, so I had already finished it. But I came in, so I didn't have The Adventures of Mamina Al-Sarafi in here 3 times. I did take it out of here for chronic pain and put in Catabasis by R.F. Kuang, and that one does have Crohn's disease, and they do talk about it quite a few times in there, and it's the main character has it, or one of the main characters, because there's 2 main characters. So that one is done again, or still done. And then we have Heritage Month. I'm doing a little bit better on this one. So Hispanic Heritage, I did get The Bewitching by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I did finish that one and thoroughly enjoyed it. I still need a Women's History and a Disability Pride one for this. If you have any suggestions, let me know. So I do for this one. I do have a couple of them that I was looking at, but I'm not sure. We'll see if I get to one of those or not. And then we have Around the World. Nothing new for this one. Still need South America and Antarctica. So for the South America one, I may use Jawbone and take it off of one of the other ones that I have it for, but there's also a couple that looked interesting about Machu Picchu, a couple nonfictions that I will probably end up reading for this. And then Antarctica, I've had some really good suggestions for this one. I do love Shackleton's story of him going to Antarctica, and I have read Endurance, which was amazing. I highly recommend it. 5-star book for me. But I did get Shipwreck at the Bottom of the World for a recommendation by Jennifer Armstrong, and I may pick that one up because I do love that story. I was also looking out for Antarctica Dark Matter because I just got this one from my library. It was $1.50. It was $1 at my library. So I may end up putting this one in there instead for this one because something I looked at said that this was in Antarctica. I haven't actually looked to see if that's true or not, but if you know, let me know if it actually takes place in Antarctica, and I may read this one. And then we move to the Even Bigger Rainbow. I put this one back in here because I did switch up a couple things. So we have for green, I did have one of the Vampire Academy books in here for this one, and I changed it to Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands. It's not quite this shade of green, but it is definitely a dark green, the whole book. And then the other one I changed was purple. So I also had a Vampire Academy book in here for this one, and I changed it to Return of Edan by Philip Chase, and this is the 3rd book in the Edan trilogy, and that one definitely has a nice purple background. And then that's the only other thing I changed on that one, so that one again is still complete. Spooky Creatures, haven't read either of those yet, but I am planning on reading Pride and Prejudice and Zombies for the zombies, and then I Am Legend for vampires. Become the Avatar, nothing new there, but again, I know what I'm going to read for those. I'm just waiting until 2026 to read them. And then Animals. So I originally put We Love You Bunny in here, and I ended up, because there's bunnies in the book, and that is house pets. So my husband and his sister both had bunnies growing up, and then one of our friends had an indoor bunny. And bunnies are amazing. I actually stayed with a family in the Midwest that had a bunny as well as their household pet. But I ended up switching it with the house switch, and I forgot to change it because this one actually is a cat. But I changed it with the house switch. Number 2, book 2 in the series by Delham Hawk, and his familiar is a cat, and the cat actually talks too, but it's a cat. And then, I still need a zoo animal because the Night Circus did have some, but I just feel like it wasn't in the story enough to be able to count for this, so I'm still looking for that one. If you have a good zoo animal book, let me know. So I ended up moving We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad here to the Even Bigger Queer Rainbow because one of the characters is gay and then his partner is bisexual. So that's where I used that one. I still need to get to these. I have some that I really want to read. So I had Black Sun in here, but one of the tribes is gender fluid or two-spirit. They don't really talk about it a whole lot in the story, so I didn't feel like that one I could use for this. But I am going to be reading The Left Hand of Darkness in 2026, so I will probably use that one. If not, then maybe Alatsue. And then again, A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor for polyamory. And then Morbidly Yours, I really want to read that one. It looks really cute. And Asexual is for that one. Middlesex or Arcadia for intersex, unless you have another option for me that you think I would like better. And then Bitter, definitely for transgender. There's some other ones that I would like to read. I mean, She Who Became the Sun would be good. A Bone in His Teeth would be good. But Bitter I would like to read because I read Pet already. And so this one's in that same series. BIPOC Challenge. This is one where I have a BIPOC author for Jawbone. And you know what? I feel like there was another one in here that I didn't use that I was going to. So I did use 10 Incarnations of Rebellion and read that one. I read Death's End. So I didn't use Death's End in here, but I do have that in a different one, a different spot. Conqueror's Blood I have in here. So I still want to read Rage of Dragons and The Jasmine Throne. So I used The Stardust Thief and Last Test. So I have other ones that I would like to read. So I think I may swap this for one of these when I read them. That way I can use this for the South America prompt. Depends if I get to one of the Machu Picchu books. We'll see. But I did add Stardust Thief, and the author is Qwordy. And I did enjoy that one. So I did finish that one. New releases. Let's see. So I did have Mate for October, which I had already talked about. And then I did finish Brimstone by Callie Hart. And that's the second book in the Fae and Alchemy series. And I did finish that one. I did enjoy it. I like the first one better. This one was a little more spicy for me, just for spicy sake. So not quite a 5-star, but I did really enjoy that one. December, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to be reading for that one. Yeah, I gotta figure that one out. I would love to read Better in Black by Cassandra Clare, but haven't gotten that one yet. I would love to read Fallen Stars, but I need to read Heavenly Bodies first. Persephone's Curse. Yeah, I need some more December books. So if you have suggestions for me, let me know down in the comments, because I need some help on that one. Challenge Yourself, nothing new on that one. The nonfiction challenge. So I had all 4 of these, and I did just finish The Comfort of Crows by Margaret Rinkle, and that is narrated by the author, and it was so good. It was so interesting. The Comfort of Crows is a little bit reminiscent to me of The Hidden Life of Trees, and this is by Peter Wollenben. And this was so good. I loved this book. And I think I liked this one a little bit more. They're definitely different. This one's a little bit more sciencey, I think, than The Comfort of Crows is, but they're both so good and very interesting. And it's definitely about nature. Somewhat of a memoir as well of the narrator, or the author/narrator. And she just did a great job with telling her story in the book, and I thought it was cozy, it was comforting, it was relaxing, and yeah, I loved it. So that one is done. And I probably will try and read more in this section. I have more in here that I want to read. I'm currently reading Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg, and this one is very interesting. I am liking that for a self-help book. And I was also thinking, I haven't done the philosophy yet, so I would like to do one of Ryan Holiday's books as well, because I have three more that I haven't read yet that I do own. So I would like to get to those. And then we have Q's, Reviews, and Recs. So I already had both of these in here from previous, so I still need to get to this one. I was going to use Catabasis, but I did use that for a different prompt instead for the disability. And let's see, TikTok ones and Instagram. So those ones, Teller of Small Fortunes is one. Also the Murderbot Diaries. So I can read the next book in that one for this. House of Blight, Strings, and Forgotten Things. Those ones I'm interested in all of those ones. So those are my thoughts for that. And then that's it for those. So let's go back to the bingo board and see what it looks like now. Oh, look at that. I'm so excited. So I do need to finish Subgenres of Choice to get that bingo. So do I have a bingo yet? No. Have all these green squares and no bingo yet. But I'm close on... Oh, wait, no. I do have a bingo. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I have a diagonal bingo. That is awesome. So I do have 1. Which is great. And then if I finish the queer alphabet round 2, I'll have another bingo this way. And subgenres of choice, I will have one this way. So very excited. That's awesome. Okay, and then we also have down here the secret prompts, if I can say that right. So for November, we needed to do the I'll get around to it later tag. Read as many of the books as you answer, and for each book read, submit a book you read in 2025 before HRCYED 2.0 started. So I did read 4 books from that tag. I read The Last Unicorn, Last Sacrifice, The Stardust Thief, and The Last Book of Autumn, which means I can use Brave New World for the cyberpunk biopunk prompt. I totally, it didn't process in my brain what that actual reward was. I also might be able to get another South America book in there. I'd have to look and see. But for Antarctica, I could use the original Shackleton book that I read. No, that was in 2024, so no, that won't work. I'm very excited about this one. So you'll have to see my December update to see what I do for this one. Very excited. I'm also already done with the secret prompt for December because I've read Catabasis, and actually 2 of them, and We Used to Live Here. So those 2 books both work for this prompt as well. Very cool. Also, do you know, can you use a book for the secret prompt? Does that count in the can only use once or twice for prompts? Does that count with the secret prompts, or are those kind of separate from the others? I haven't figured that one out yet. I'll have to ask about that one or look it up and see if she mentioned it, because yeah. So that's it. That's where I am so far. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 squares left to go, and only 2 of those are purple ones. Very exciting. I think I have 2 left for, no, I only have 1 book left for that one. I have like 10 books left for that one. So it'll be a while for that one. But I'm getting close. Let me see. Now I'm curious. So I have 1 book for that. I have like 10 books for that. So that's 11. Oh, we still have quite a few. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 29, 31, 33, we'll say 34. We'll count that one. 35. I have 35 books left to read, and I will be done with the challenge. And of course, there will be more because I need to go back and remove any duplicates just for an extra hard challenge, but I'll wait until after I finish the 35 first. And I can use 4 from the I'll get around to it later tag. So I can replace 4 books with, or I can use 4 books that I read between January and June of 2025. I'm excited about that one. Okay, for the I'll get around to it later tag, I had A Classic You're Putting Off, and I did read The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. Book on Your Shelf You Haven't Read Yet, Green Angel Tower Part 2. I'm only halfway through because a whole bunch of library books came in that are physical books only, and yeah, those are taking precedence right now. Book you recently got but haven't read, and that was Last Sacrifice by Rochelle Mead, the last book in the Vampire Academy series. I did finish that one. Book you've had on your shelf forever and haven't read, and that was Last Stand of the Golem, which I have not read that yet. Been recommended but haven't read, The Stardust Thief, so that's the 3rd book that I finished, and that's by Chelsea Abdullah. Book you've been procrastinating on, and that's The Moon Dwellers by David Estes, and I really, really, really want to read that one, but I haven't gotten to it yet. I have it on my December TBR, we'll see. And then next book on your TBR, and that was the last book of, actually I had 2 for this one, The Book of Autumn by Molly O'Sullivan, and then Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson, and I read both of those. They were amazing. So good. And that's all I have for you for the November update for my HRCYED spreadsheet. Now stay tuned for my reading journal for January to come out, and I will have an update for the beginning of December for you on that one. And if you made it this far in the video, leave some type of a snow or ice emoji in the comments to let me know that you were here in honor of the Antarctica bonus prompt. And until next time, keep reading. Bye!